Today we're going to make a beautiful chicken involtini dish, and I love this dish for entertaining but also a really quick and easy meal of a weeknight if you're wanting to prepare something in advance and then cook it up, or have it the next day at room temperature is also delicious. So what we have here is some chicken thigh, but it's actually the chicken thigh with the drumstick attached, deboned. And what it gives you is a really lovely piece of chicken that you can roll. You can also use just the chicken thigh. They'll just be smaller pieces, but you can certainly do that as well. So what I have here is about 1.2 kilos of chicken, and it comes in about 4 pieces, and you'll have 4 rolls. It'll probably feed about 8 people, but you can certainly prepare more in advance. I've also prepared my fillings. So what I have here is some spinach leaves, some beautiful thinly sliced prosciutto, some pecorino cheese, but you could certainly use mozzarella or a cheese that you like, and some pre-prepared roasted capsicums, which I just got from a jar, but of course if you want to roast your own, you can do that as well. And we're just going to make the involtini first, and then secondly we'll fry them up and prepare the dish. So what you need to do is get one of your chicken thighs and make sure you put the back of the chicken on a plate, and we're going to put some fillings inside these. So I'm actually going to start with the thinly sliced prosciutto, and we're going to cover the chicken like so, which will form a lovely layer, because when we roll it up we want to make sure we have all the flavors. I will also do the same for the spinach leaves. I love putting spinach leaves in it because it gives it a nice bright color and obviously a lovely flavor as well. So we just fill the base with the spinach leaves. And then with the cheese and the roasted capsicum, we're not going to cover the whole thing because it then adds too much filling and we won't be able to roll it up. So with the capsicum, just a little bit on one side. And capsicum's also quite rich, and so is the cheese. So we don't want to have too many sort of rich flavors in the dish. And then some lovely cheese, which we just put on one side as well, like so. And then with our hands and a little bit of confidence, we're going to roll up the chicken. Before we do that, we need to prepare some twine, because when we roll it, we're actually going to put some twine around the chicken to make sure it holds together. This chicken's quite large, so toothpicks are probably not going to work for this dish. So what I have here is just a little bit of butcher's twine, and I'm just going to get some pieces prepared in advance. I've got a little pile here that's ready to roll, and I'm going to have one ready to go because this gets a little bit tricky with my hands. So now I'm going to grab one side of the chicken and I'm going to slowly roll it up like so. And whilst doing that, I'm going to push the filling in quite confidently, and it's okay if a few bits fall out, that's okay. And then I'm going to make sure, a bit like a sushi roll, make sure that all the little bits inside are joined in. Then I'm going to grab the first piece of twine and roll it underneath the chicken. And then I'm just going to start in the middle first, just to hold it together. And I'm just going to do a double knot, like so, quite tightly. And I do like to have a little bit of string hanging out. I'm not going to cut it right to the bottom, because when I do pull the string off, I like to have a little bit to hang on to. And then I'm also going to do another one on the end of the chicken, like so. And then I'm going to turn it around and do another one on the end too. So this is not sort of fancy twine work. It really is just practical. And I'm looking at it going, we could probably do 4 pieces of twine. So I'm actually going to do that. Sometimes my chicken, I can do just 3, but this one's quite a long piece and I want to give it a bit of extra certainty. So I'm going to put 4. And there we go. That's a lovely piece of involtini. And I'm going to pop it on a plate and put it aside because we're going to cook them up, but I'll do one more for you. So So once again, flat side down, some lovely prosciutto. You could put some ham if you wanted to do ham. You don't actually have to do prosciutto meat filling, you could just have vegetarian filling. So you could play around with the fillings, which can be a little bit of fun as well. I do particularly like this combination, but if there's an ingredient that you don't like, that's totally fine. You can do what you want, really. And then we just keep going with the bits and pieces, and a little bit of cheese and some lovely roasted capsicum, which, to be honest, you can get from the supermarket. This brand is a Movida brand, which I saw, and they looked actually quite good, so I just grabbed these. But if you're lucky enough to have a nonna at home who makes beautiful roasted peppers in summer, then go for it. So we roll them up like so, and I've got some twine ready to go. That piece is a little bit too small. My hands are a bit sticky, but let's get the middle piece first and pop them in like so. I'm looking at this chicken, and I actually think we could probably confidently do 3. So I'm going to do that. Put around and do the other end. I do love eating these the next day, and they actually taste better the next day. This piece is a little bit long, so I'm just going to snip off a little bit, and that is another piece of rolled chicken. I'm going to do one more in a moment, and then we're going to get frying. So we want to make sure that these are absolutely cooked through. So I've got my chicken involtini now on the fry pan, and I am going to put a little bit of salt on top of each one. Not too much, because we've actually got some salty items inside the chicken, but it is always nice to season chicken. And just a little bit of cracked pepper. I'm going to sear these by keeping an eye on them. It's starting to brown up nicely. You're just going to have to be a little bit patient. This is actually going to take quite some time, so probably about 15 minutes or so. I do like to put a lid on the chicken to encourage it to cook through, which I'll do now, and I'll keep turning them around to make sure that they're cooked nicely. Chicken is now ready and completely cooked through. And we're now going to make a bit of a sauce on the bottom of the chicken. I like to use Marsala wine because it's a lovely sweet wine, but you could also use white wine as well. Probably about half a cup. Going to just pour that in. I think that was about probably a cup. Deglaze the pan. Give it a bit of a shake, and it just takes off all the juices. Swirl the chicken around it, coat the chicken with the marsala, and it just smells so good. I'm actually now going to take the chicken out and allow the sauces just to cook down a bit more. And these look really wonderful. Can't wait to slice one up for you. So that's our chicken. I'm just going to allow the sauce just to cook down a little bit more. Going to give it a bit of a taste, the seasoning. It's quite good. Just let that sizzle a little bit longer. We're going to grab one of these chickens now. I do like to let these cool down a little bit before I slice, but we are definitely going to slice one today, so you can have a look. Now that sauce is ready, and while it's hot, I'm actually going to pour it into a sieve here, just to strain some of those juices off and to catch any of the little bits. I really only want a pure sauce, and you only need a little bit of the sauce because it's actually quite rich. So that's our sauce ready. And I'm just going to put that aside, but look at it, just looks beautiful and brown and luscious, and has a huge amount of flavour from the fillings of the chicken and also the chicken itself. Now what we're going to do here, you could serve this as a whole piece. We definitely need to remove the twine, so we will do that. And this one has 3 pieces, but you can see the meat has really held its shape well. Oh no, we've got 4 pieces of twine here. So that's a whole piece of rolled chicken. That would easily serve one person with a crisp garden salad on the side and some fresh crusty bread. But if you want to serve it in a presentation mode, absolutely slice it into rounds so you can see the beauty of the filling. So quite thick rounds, not too small. And you can see the filling there, it looks quite pretty. And slice the whole chicken thigh like so. And then just present it. You know, it's not supposed to look chefy, but it certainly looks quite pretty with the sauce, like so. And then grab some of your sauce and just pour a little bit over the top, not too much. And that is my gorgeous chicken involtini dish.